The buzz of activity is back at the state capitol. Minnesota lawmakers reconvened for the 2020 legislative session on Tuesday. Pafua Yang spoke with local lawmakers, and she joins us live at the Capitol to tell us what some of the important issues are. Pafua?
Shannon, each of the local lawmakers I spoke to have their own priorities, but there are a few topics that really drew the attention of all legislators, and that includes the public infrastructure projects. Governor Tim Walz is proposing a $2 billion list, while Democrats in the House are talking about spending as much as $3.5 billion. But Republican Representative Paul Anderson says his caucus in the Senate wants to hold the price to $1 billion or less.
We're going to see much smaller bill in the Senate focused on critical infrastructure, and when it comes to things like wastewater treatment plants and the University of Minnesota and Min-State system, when it comes to those kind of projects. But we also have community projects such as the Plymouth Creek Center that we'll be advocating as well.
Another big topic is insulin affordability. This issue came to the forefront last year. Both sides agree that the price of insulin is too high, but they disagree on how they're going to lower the price, specifically who's going to pay for it.
Just making sure there's a supply for people who, who meet a certain income threshold is something that we need to do, I think, and we're going to be talking about that in the Government Operations Committee that I chair. There's only a small portion of the bill that's germane to the committee that I chair, but I know there will also be a hearing in the Commerce Committee today, I believe.
Other issues include guns, marijuana, and protecting the privacy of Minnesotans who vote in the presidential primary. And although Minnesota is the only divided state legislature in the nation, lawmakers from both sides of the aisle are hopeful they'll get things done. For now, reporting live at the state capitol, Pafua Yang, CCX News.
All right, thank you, Pafua. Maple Grove is now home to another destination burger joint. Today was opening day for Wahlburgers, and we get that story from Eric Nelson.
It's huge. It's such a draw. It's huge.
The buildup began early in the a.m.
I watched every episode of the show. I am a huge fan.
People bundled up and waited for Maple Grove's newest restaurant to open for business.
I am so thrilled that they're opening in Maple Grove. We've been waiting forever.
When local VIPs cut the ribbon to christen Minnesota's second Wahlburgers, it was game on as a steady stream of patrons came through the doors. They couldn't wait to try out a burger joint that mixes celebrity with a down-to-earth approach.
You know, we do something that's a little bit different. It's not just about the food or just about the bar. It's the family atmosphere.
Wahlburgers is owned by Hy-Vee. Maple Grove is a coveted location.
As soon as you drive up, everything is out here. Every retail place, every restaurant is out here, and we have a beautiful spot right on the corner.
Cashing in on the fame of the A&E television show has put the chain on the map. But when you boil it down, the real key is, how does the food taste?
Fantastic. The peanut butter right there, it's awesome. A bacon, onion, caramelized onion in there.
In Maple Grove, I'm Eric Nelson, CCX News.
The rush is on this week as local flower shops prepare for Valentine's Day. Delaney Cleveland takes us inside a Plymouth business that provides flowers to many of those stores.
It's crazy busy. We run on a lot of sugar and coffee to get ourselves through this week.
Few things in life are as intertwined as Valentine's Day and flowers.
Oh, it's one of our top holidays.
Plymouth-based Lenbush Roses provides many of those flowers to independent shops and grocery stores throughout the 5-state area. They grow some of the flowers on site, but many are shipped in from other states and countries.
750,000 rose stems are going through here, going box shipped, in water, dry packed, whichever way it is, to get out to the stores for floral dozens and for bouquet work and arrangement work.
Georgia Edgington says the days leading up to Valentine's Day are some of the busiest of the entire year.
We will work round the clock pretty much for about 12 days straight.
She's exaggerating about working around the clock, but preparation for the big day requires long hours of packing, filling orders, and loading boxes onto trucks.
Yep, super busy. It's pretty much start of February all the way towards almost Valentine's week pretty much.
Yet then you also have people like Lee Grundy working on quality control.
They got bonked somehow, so we call that mechanical damage, and it just is not nearly as appealing to the customer. We don't want to have disappointed customers.
Valentine's flowers are meant to spread love, so the production team is doing its part to make the flowers look as presentable as possible before they hit store shelves.
That's always at the front of our mind when we're buying and we're designing product, because we know at the end of the line, it's always to make somebody smile.
The work may be grueling and tedious, but when smiles are on the line, the staff members here say it's a worthwhile sacrifice.
We do enjoy what we do, and we're here for a reason, and that is to bring beauty and flowers to customers in the end.
In Plymouth, Delane Cleveland, CCX News.
It was a special day on Monday for Courage Kenny as they entertained a unique guest. Australian ALANA BIDDLE stopped by as part of her 2-month holiday in the U.S. She wanted to see how Courage Kenny helps people with disabilities because she has a special connection to the facility. She's the great-granddaughter of Sister Elizabeth Kenny, who's the center's founder.
Her legacy has prompted so much innovation and help for people with strokes and spinal injuries and rehabbing people, getting them back to work, back in their homes. It's really inspirational that her legacy is still used today.
Biddle added that she is very proud of her great-grandmother and the work she did back in the 1940s that led to the Courage Kenny Center.
Spots in the state girls hockey tournament are up for grabs this week. Breck is a defending Class A state champion, and on Wednesday night the Mustangs take aim at another section title and a return to St. Paul. Here's Jason Malillo with more.
Breck lost twice toward the end of the regular season, surrendering leads in both games. Hard lessons.
Wayzata is in the lead for the first time.
But lessons that are making the Mustangs a better team in the playoffs.
I think that kind of lit a fire under us, knowing that we can't take anything else for granted, and that our next game could potentially be our last game. Especially being a senior, it adds just that much more weight on every shift, every game in practice. So I think we kind of use that as motivation going into the sections and trying to prepare, playing against faster, bigger teams. It's definitely made us more competitive as a team.
We got to remind each other to stay focused and play our game. We got to remind each other not to make the little mistakes, because in the end, those get us, and that's where other teams come back. So making sure we play our game and play our style, that'll keep us ahead in games, big games.
Although underclassmen make up a lot of Breck's roster, this is a battle-tested group that's been through several postseason runs together and won 2 straight state titles.
I think that the electricity of the environment has kind of thrown a couple of people off, but I think as a team we've worked well to kind of control our emotions and hold it in and focus on the game.
The Mustangs face off against Orono in the section final, a team they whipped in the regular season. But Breck is preparing for a very different Spartans team this time around. Jason Malillo, CCX Sports.
The puck drops for the Section 5A final between Breck and Orono at 7 o'clock Wednesday night at the St. Louis Park Rec Center. The Wayzata girls hockey team is into the semifinals in Section 6AA, perhaps the state's toughest section. As Jay Wilcox reports, the Trojans are peaking at the right time.
Wayzata's overall record of 16-9-1 isn't dazzling, but they're coming on strong. The Trojans won 6 of their last 8 regular season games, several of them against very high-quality teams. That has them confident now.
It's really exciting, actually. This is the best part of the season, in my opinion. I think we have a lot going for us, and I believe that this is our year to go to state. We've had a kind of up and down season, but I'm so pumped, and we really came together these last couple games, so I'm really confident in our team.
Yeah, that's exactly why we have a tough schedule. It's for playoffs, and for this reason. We've been playing tougher, the toughest teams in the state, and so for us it's just another game and one that we can be comfortable playing in.
The Trojans won going away 9-0 against Osseo Park Center in the Section 6 AA quarterfinals Saturday. It was a good start to the postseason.
You know, it was probably a slower start than what we would have liked, but obviously with playoffs you get a lot of nerves. And so I'm really happy with the way we were able to respond and come together, and then obviously pull away with some great goals. But overall it was a really good team win, and I think a great way for us to start this playoff run.
Third seed Wayzata faces second seed Blake in the semifinals Wednesday, a team they lost to 3-2 early in the season.
Even though they have like a few key players, we're going to stay in their jersey. We're going to keep our clear mindset going and just come out with a ton of energy. Even if like things don't go our way, we have to bounce back really easily.
They definitely have some really key players, but so do we. I think we're even in that we both have some really strong players, but our team, I feel, has the hard work and the grit in the back couple lines, so I think it'll be a great matchup and I'm super excited to play them.
Blake is a tough test for sure, but the Wayzata girls are ready to take on all challengers. Jay Wilcox, CCX Sports.
Wayzata meets Blake at approximately 7:30 Wednesday night at Parade Ice Garden. You can see tape delayed coverage of that game that night at 10 o'clock here on CCX. We'll have highlights of Tuesday night's Maple Grove Section 5 AA semifinal starting Wednesday afternoon here on CCX Sports. That's all for sports. More news in a moment.